Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Business, organized by JCI Europe. I'm Philippe Carrera.
And my name is Robert van Waart.
Today we have as our guest Ruth Gabler Schachermayr. Oh, I had a problem with your surname. Founder of Career Mom, accomplished fundraiser, specialist, international speaker and trainer, working in fundraising management, consulting NGOs, and building up fundraising departments. Engaged with JCI, currently EDC counselor, and her passion is empowering women, especially moms. Welcome, Ruth. Tell us a bit about your fundraising experience, a little bit.
Thank you, Philippe. It's really, and of course, Robert, it's an honor to be here with both of you and to be here with the senators. It's really a privilege to me. Well, fundraising, whenever I'm asked about what is fundraising, I say I'm an investment banker for the good cause, because I worked for a really long time in Frankfurt, which is also where my JCI home is. And whenever there you say you work in fundraising, everyone's like, okay, which bank do you work for? I'm like, no, it's not a bank. I work in fundraising, but for the good cause. So an investment banker. So it's really about finding out why people give money, and what is it with the case of support, so-called. So that's really my passion, and that's what I learned and studied in the United States. So that's really my personal passion.
Have a good night.
Good. Very and the good cause, Ruth. What about the good cause? What kind of good causes are we talking about?
Well, mainly the past I've worked in is education or children, because that's really, that's also where I started, because about 12 years ago, I founded a children and youth university from children from different social backgrounds that would go on to academia and really know what science is. So ever since then, kind of children and education have triggered me, and it's also where I started working in the United States for Kiwanis International, and really helping children on the ground. So that's why kids are my heart, and that's now I'm also a mom of a 1-year-old, so they're still my heart and my passion in every way.
Wow. Yeah, because we see it in your screen as well, like career mom. So are you a career mom then?
Well, it's again something I'm very passionate about. Also, still working in fundraising, there was a lot of people that when I said I'm having my son and asked, when will you come back, or will you ever come back? I said, right away, I'll come back. I mean, I love working. I love what I do. I love my passion. So of course I'll come back. And it's still something that for some people that's not okay, and it's not expected immediately that you return to work, and there's still the hesitancy between, can I have a career, or am I going to be a mom, and do I need to stay home and watch after my children? And people that return very early on, there's still a stigma in many countries, and you can stay home for a year, 2 years, 3 years, or longer. And everyone should really decide on what they want. But I wanted to reduce the stigma, actually, and help women on their maternity leave, and tell them that there's more that you can do other than just running from one baby cafe to the next, which is what many do. But if you've been in high-level positions or in management positions, sometimes you want to talk about other things. And I also tell them that's really the time you should start networking, because there's a time after when you'll want to go back and focus again on your career. So you should really use the time also on your maternity leave and start networking, because men always network, and we should do it as well as women, and use that time also.
Ruth, by the way, the staying at home nowadays is a kind of rule because of the confinement. What changes do you see in this as a career mom? Or even better, what opportunities, what threats that you see?
I mean, I think part of it is that it's becoming the new normal. So right now we are used to, and we all know it, a lot of new digital tools. And we need to find ways to still make them personal. So like having coffee with the two of you now in a coffee shop, that's amazing. And that builds a little bit of relationship as well. And I think we need to find those, despite all the meetings, we need to find ways to still engage with each other, to get to know each other. And I put all my networking trainings that I was planning to do offline, of course, online. And now I teach the moms how to network online and how to really use LinkedIn professionally. So I think in that regard, there's a lot of tools that have gotten a surge. I mean, we're now on Zoom, and we all know what changed on Zoom and what made them, the million users within weeks and months, and how they also had to change their security settings and everything. So I think a lot is changing in the digital world, but also in the personal world. Personally, I think that it teaches us more of the things that we really value, and to spend more time with the things that we value. And that's just my personal thought about it as well.
Yeah, interesting. You talked about the stigma and moms staying at home for a longer period of time. Do you see that especially in the western part of the world, or let's say Europe, or because you have been traveling a lot as well, right? Because of JCI, but also the Kiwanis, where you are very active in.
Yes. I mean, I think in Eastern Europe, it's better. I've seen that, and it's totally okay. Of course, in JCI, it's totally okay, and that's what I love about this organization as well. When I told my friends, I was going to travel with my 6 weeks old to a conference, they were like, "Oh my God, are you crazy?" It was the first thing I was really concerned about after knowing, when I was giving birth. How can I travel to JCI World Congress? Is it even possible?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of role models in JCI that do that. I mean, you've interviewed John before. I was a speaker with John at the conference, and he had his 6 weeks old there. So I was like, if other people can do it, I can do it. And it's totally okay. And then I was traveling to Chisinau with alone by myself with my 3 months old. And for the European presidents meeting, and there was others there that were there with the babies, and they had fun together, and people watched after him while I was giving presentation. And I think that's what JCI is also teaching us, a new way of dealing with having a family and combining a career and combining honorary engagement. And sometimes in the real business world, in Europe, where you can stay at home as a mom, some people rely on that. And I think they rely on that too heavily, because if we look at what women have to face when they grow older and pension retirements, it's a really big struggle in many countries, because women lose out on the time when they're home and they're watching after the kids. And that's very sad, because it shouldn't have to be that way. And it should be okay to go back to work. I mean, for me, I'm actually now going back into fundraising full time as well, and having a career mom next to it, and actually starting a new project to also combine entrepreneurship and family life and a new platform. And I think everything is doable if you want it and if you believe in it. And if you have a passion for it, then that's what I also want to teach the people and the moms out there, that yes, if you want it, you can do it. You can have a career, and you can also have a family, and you can be a good mom. And that's the stigma, sometimes when you go back to work, are you then a good mom anymore? Because are you spending enough time with your child? And I think it's all about quality time. And if I'm happy, my son will be happy. And if you're happy personally, you will give that to your children.
So you are your work is very connected with work-life balance. So
yes.
If let's say that I want the best advices to have the best work-life balance, what would be your best advices uh, for moms and non-moms?
These are really Felipe questions. Always the yeah, good Felipe. Good.
Oh, thank you, Robert. I know that you are one of my fans.
My best advice, the first thing I was thinking when you were asking me, Philippe, was be present. So wherever you are and whatever you do, be in that moment. And don't do 5 things at a time. But when you work, you work. And then it's okay that your son or your child is with his dad or with his grandparents. And even if maybe it's in the room next to us, and sometimes with home office, of course, we're confined to our apartments. If I hear him crying, it's okay, because I know he's still well, and it's my time now to work. And the other way around, if I'm playing, if I have playtime, then I really also put my phone away, and it's really a time when I have time with my son and I'm playing with him, and I want to fully spend that time with him, and not be engaged with another message on the phone or a call or another email. And I would say that that's true for almost every situation. Being present, if you really want to be there, you are so much more in the moment. You can be an active listener. You can really see, especially now in digital meetings, our movements, the meta phase that we are sometimes missing because we're not there physically. We need to be even more attentive and present.
It is really something which is not has anything to do with gender, right? Because that's also for dads, something for fathers, for men, something a really good advice, because being there in the moment. Yeah.
And do what you love and find things that you do for yourself. Be that something where you can really let out energy. So sports in a way, but maybe even other things that you really like doing. And other things, cancel them if they're not really, of value at the moment. So right now, what I don't do is I don't read books. I just don't have the time. So whenever I want something, there's apps, there's podcasts I can listen to. I don't need to read books. It's okay to not have the time at the moment. So really also accepting that fact, and maybe over Christmas, I will try and sit down with a book again and read it. But other than that, finding other ways of letting go of things. So for me, right now, that's also sports sometimes.
The president of the European Senate here, Reynold, is sending his best wishes for all of us on Facebook. And one of the things is that, can you share with us an example, a story of a positive impact of your activity in someone, especially it can be with this work-life balance? Do you have anything that you could share? Of course you have, but do you have in your mind now?
You mean also in regards to JCI or more general?
In your activity.
In my activity. I think the most, the things that maybe a story I can share is, because I'm actually having a call afterwards, there is, I think, empowering other women that are in the same situation as I am to really follow their passion and do what they want to do. And teaching them also that networking is possible everywhere. So actually, when I was giving birth, I was sharing the room with another woman. That's how it works in the hospitals.
We're exchanging business cards?
Well, after 3 days in the room together.
I thought it was during the birth.
No, after. But you share a room after. After that, we realized that we actually studied at the same university. So and we've been in contact since. And she always says that I empowered her to start a business, and she now has a blog that she does, and she went back into business, and she started a business on the side. also talking about the truth about moms. It's what it's called, and it's a blog. She has 2 kids now, and she told me that without me, she would have never done it, because I empowered her to really think that yes, it's possible and you can do it. And for me, that it's a very powerful story, because not only that we met in hospital while giving birth, but also that she says that it gives me the privilege to really help other women do what they want to do. And I think that's so important. It's so important for everyone to do what they want to do, but especially also for women that have a family to tell them you can still be passionate about what you do. You know, you don't have to give up your life. You share your life with someone, but it's not about giving it up. It's about sharing and following your passion.
A true butterfly effect.
Yes.
Butterfly effect. Ooh.
Now you have to explain
today
it.
I'm on fire, Robert. I'm on fire, Robert. It's
Yeah, I know the butterfly effect, but I know only the joke about the butterfly. What is the name of a butterfly in French, in English, and then in Deutsch? And it's okay now. Papillon and smetterling. Yeah.
yes, something that somebody is like angry with somebody.
Yeah. You shared a little bit about having a new project. And can you share a little bit about it, or is it still secret and not there yet? Because what I really find interesting is, and that's also one of the reasons why we invited you. And I said it already when we had contacted. You are so always enthusiastic and always there. And we actually never talked really within JCI, but we always pass each other and hey, and so unbelievably active within JCI. And when you now tell all those things also about the Kiwanis, you do the things, and it's always giving. So I'm really interested what your next project will be.
Well, for one, I'm going back full time into fundraising, so I'm very excited for that as well. I still am very engaged in Kiwanis, of course. I'm a member of a club in Vienna. I'm still very engaged in JCI, which I really love as well, being part of the European Development Council this year. And I've seen so much empowerment there this year with all the online conferences and with moving everything digital. And it's actually, yeah, very much. And it's actually also inspired me to do something similar, and to think about something for moms and especially solo entrepreneurs, which there's many in terms of digital learning, and finding their own resources, and working with a business partner now, conceptualizing in something in regards to e-learning there, and really combining entrepreneurship and having a family. So that's a new project we're working on, and the start will be before Christmas, so it's also very timely. Yeah. So yeah, because now is the time, right? And coming back to Philippe's question, what's changed? I think one thing that has changed now is if we do things, we do them quickly now, because we've learned that we can start doing something. And of course it might not be perfect, but we all had to react to the situation. And even it's not perfect, it's done, and we started doing something. And I think that's what's so important now in this time, to do something positive about the situation, to react proactively, and then we can always make it better afterwards. But I think that's also what entrepreneurship is about, and so I'm excited what will come.
Wow. Yeah, I think we all have discovered this past year that and maybe we thought always that the world would change a little bit by a little bit by a little bit, and now we all experience, everybody, not only in a business side but also on the non-business, non-profit side, that it can change so rapidly and it can change massively and have a big impact. All those people who have been organizing World Congress in Japan or the European Congress in Ireland, and all had to stop it and change it right away. And I like it when you say, okay, we have to live in the now, and we have to make decisions so quite rapidly in to live there and to make the changes over there.
Ruth,
Yes.
Did you had a mentor, formal or informal, through your career? What is your experience in the mentoring area?
Yes, I've had many mentors in my life, and I truly, truly believe in mentorship, and finding a mentor for each stage of your life and for each challenge that you're facing. I've actually had an amazing mentor about 12 years ago when I started the Children University, and I'm still in contact with her. And she's now the head of a big Austrian university. And that I came back to her now with my Career Mom project. And that university is now actually a partner with Career Mom, and we do things together. And I've kept in contact with her over the last 12 years. I'm a mentor myself now in about 2 or 3 programs, and it's also the next step of Career Mom that I want to start a mentoring for the moms, to have other career moms mentor them, because I truly believe that we can learn from each other very much, and not even only on the mentor side, on the mentee side, but also on the mentor side. And as you said before, Robert, there it's also all about giving back, and we have so much in us. And if we pass that knowledge on, or the butterfly effect, and give that to a mentee, it strengthens us again, and it gives us new power, and maybe even some new learnings, because of new digital tools and other things that we're taking from a new generation. So I think it's very, very powerful mentoring. And even in JCI, when I was in Frankfurt, we started a mentoring program for refugees, because that's when we had the big refugee wave, and we partnered with ISEC and did that, and it was very, very successful. Refugee buddies, and I got to know an amazing man who I still talk to sometimes, and know he's a photographer, and we met for coffees and helped him find a job. So I truly believe in mentoring.
Wow. Felipe,
So,
your favorite.
one thing that before your question, Robert,
Yeah.
you talk about Children's University. What is that one?
Yeah.
It's a university for children, because in many countries, and also in Austria, there's a tracking system when you come to school. So a lot of times, the children who are not from academic families have a much harder time to go to the university, because they don't, get that background from their family. So it's to break that barrier. So children can come to the university and learn all about science and research, and play in a lab, and have fun about management, how to manage your own birthday. And it's
At what age that happens?
we did it from 11 to 14 years old. So it's really a youth university, but some children universities start at the age of 8 years. And then it's also, fun ways about learning for the stars, about the stars and what they mean, but also going into lab and learning physical things. And it's the hardest thing for the professors, because then they have to actually teach to children, which is really hard. And they actually ask the toughest questions.
Yeah. They really ask the real questions, right? Your son is only 1, right? So he doesn't ask any questions yet. Yeah.
Not yet.
Good luck, because our children are a little bit older, and they, yeah. Wow. So how long have you been JCI member for now? Or the weeks of Union, of course, but the JCI, how long have you been member? And my question would be, what is the biggest lessons you learned in that school? Because it's actually also a school or a university, right? JCI.
Yes. Wow. Big, tough question, Robert. Well, it's a little complicated, because I've been a member in Austria for about 12 years, maybe, but then Austria is very different, junge Wirtschaft. So I then moved to the United States. I was a visiting member in JCI USA when I was in Indianapolis. And then I moved to Germany, Frankfurt, Germany, and there I really, became an active member, a local president, member of the local board, etc. So that's probably now 6 years ago, 7 years ago. That's when I really got active and went to JCI European Academy and really learned about the whole JCI Europe universe. And what has it taught me, the JCI school? A lot about leadership, very many things about how to be a team leader and how to manage diverse teams, and how to, while doing that, how to empower the people, because we have such strong people in JCI. And I was head outdoor trainer at one time at the European Academy, and having their 9 different amazing trainers from different countries, putting them all in a team together, and making them the best trainers themselves for the participants, which are also JCI leaders. That was a hard lesson, and a big challenge. And I think doing that.
What was the challenge?
I think stepping out of your comfort zone, and taking on challenges you normally wouldn't take on in your normal life, and then seeing what it can do. So I would have probably never started Career Mom and stand on my own feet if it wasn't for JCI and the things that I learned. Yes, you can do that if you just believe in it. Yes, you can step out of your comfort zone. That's the biggest learning lesson.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
JCI is really, really an organization that gives us a lot of opportunities, and basically you also got that. And when you go to an academy, and that is the problem, that going to an academy digitally is not the same as in person, because there is another experience around. Ruth, our time is up.
Oh, no.
Yes. So thank you very much for having the time to talk with us, to share, because this is also a great way to network, is to share. I normally say that the first rule about networking is sharing. When you share, you basically give food to your network. So this is one of the goals that we have with Let's Talk Business, to give this kind of content. And thank you very much for your sharing, your time, your availability. And let's talk further. The networking area is an area that I have a lot of interest. Even I published a book on that and do also trainings on that. So we have that in common. So once again, thank you very much. And keep safe, and hope to see you soon, not only virtually, but in person.
It was my pleasure, Philippe and Robert. And I say it's just been amazing. It's almost like sitting in a coffee shop, really, with you. Really,
there is a coffee shop behind me. Yeah. And I even have a lady trying, or it's a guy, I don't understand. And he's very slow because it's not taking any coffee. It's you see, Robert has the same guy.
Yeah.
It's like clones.
Yeah.
It's truly been a pleasure, and I fully agree with what you said. I always say networking is about giving as well, and giving is the most important. And it's been a pleasure being here and seeing how much time and energy you are also giving to this project. I've seen the other interviews, and I think it's amazing, and it's really also an inspiration to others, I hope. So thank you also for doing that. It's a true honor as a senator to see that active, and to see also so many young senators coming up and doing that. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Super. Vielen Dank und schönen Abend.
Schönen Abend aus Wien.
Robert wants to show off his German skills. I cannot compete on that. Sorry. So thank you very much, and have a great evening.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.